Every civilization that ever existed asked the same question: where does evil come from? And no one, not one culture, not one era, has ever agreed on the answer. Evil was not something poured into humans from outside. It was not a curse. It was not a punishment. It was not an accident. It grew from inside, from the same place that kept our ancestors alive. Before laws, before religion, before cities, back to when humans were small, cold, hungry, and genuinely terrified. The ancient world was not a comfortable place. Predators were faster, stronger, and better equipped for violence than any human. Food was never guaranteed. Starvation was a constant companion. One injury could end everything. Inside the ancient human skull, a small structure was performing the most important job in the world. Its job: detect danger, trigger a response, before you had time to think. That reflex saved countless lives over millions of years. But it also planted the first seed of what would become evil. The human who hesitated when threatened often did not survive. The human who acted first, even when wrong, more often did. Aggression was not a defect in the ancient human's design. It was a feature, as essential as fire, as essential as shelter. Resources were limited. Everything scarce enough to fight over was fought over. Mates were scarce. Territory was scarce. Safety was scarce. Competition was not a moral failing, it was arithmetic. The most powerful survival technology the ancient human ever developed was not a weapon. It was not a tool. It was other people. The group was warmth, food, protection, and meaning. To be inside the group was to live. To be outside was to die. Inside the group, loyalty was not a preference. It was a condition of survival. Betrayal did not just damage relationships, it endangered everyone's life, and exile, being cast outside the circle, was the ancient world's cruelest sentence. An unrecognized face triggered the same alarm system as a predator. The brain that said different equals dangerous had a statistical advantage. It was not hatred. It was a threat detection system running on incomplete data. And it became the seed of every prejudice that followed. Once a person was categorized as other, something changed in how the brain processed them. The individual face disappeared. A category remained, and categories are much easier to harm than individual people. Even in the smallest ancient bands, some individuals had more food, more protection, more influence over what the group did next. The drive to rise and to hold down those who might challenge that rise is written into the biology of every primate alive. Once an individual controlled the resources, something changed in their behavior. They took more. They enforced compliance. They punished resistance. This was the first recognizable form of evil, gaining systematically at another's permanent expense. As the brain grew more complex, humans didn't just become better hunters. They became better liars, better manipulators, better planners of harm that would not be attributed to them. Intelligence was a multiplier for everything in both directions. While the machinery of aggression was building itself, another system was building alongside it. The ancient human began to feel what others felt, not because they chose to, because the brain made them. In ancient groups, sharing was not just generosity, it was survival mathematics that everyone was tracking. When the distribution was unequal, the body registered it, the face showed it, and the group remembered it. After harming a group member, something happened inside the ancient human. A persistent low signal in the nervous system. Not weakness, biology. Those who felt it and acted on it kept their place in the group. No one handed the first moral rules down from above. They were worked out conflict by conflict, generation by generation, into informal agreements that made group life bearable, and those who violated the agreements paid for it, socially, practically, immediately. Every human alive today carries the exact same ancient architecture, the same fear circuits, the same tribal instincts, the same hunger for status. The hardware has not been updated, only the world around it has changed. Modern humans live in cities of millions, but the brain was calibrated for groups of 50. Every unfamiliar face in that city triggers a micro-alert. The brain was not built for this, and it shows. The most disturbing finding of 20th century psychology was not about monsters, it was about ordinary people. Given the right situation, the right authority, and the right framing, almost anyone can harm. The situation is often more powerful than the character. What we call evil is not something injected into human nature from outside. It is the ancient survival machinery running in conditions it was not designed for. Understanding that does not excuse anything, but it means we can finally see it clearly. The brain that planned raids also painted cave walls. The same species that organized atrocities also organized symphonies. The depth of human cruelty and the height of human achievement share a root. Throughout history, the category of us has slowly expanded, imperfectly, incompletely, but the direction has been, over long enough time, toward less harm. Not because humans became angels, because we built structures that made harm harder to commit. Every ancient instinct discussed in this video is still fully operational. The threat system activates when triggered. The tribal instinct fires when activated. The status drive operates continuously. But we know what it is now. And knowing what it is, that is where the story of evil finally becomes something else.